I just don't feel like it. How often have we said that to ourselves? How often do we encounter that sense, that feeling like, I don't want to do it. I don't want to bother. I don't have it in me today. It's too much. All of that. I just don't feel like it. We run into that all the time. What do we do? A good friend of mine recently said to me that she was told when she felt angry and just didn't want to get up angry. Do it anyway. I thought that was really good advice. And she said it had worked really well for her and worked with a lot of things. The way that we have approached this in the past is, I don't feel like it. I don't want to do it. So what? So I don't want to do it. What has that got to do with it? I'm stuck in a mood. I'm stuck in a state. I'm subject to some inner rambling, some inner turmoil, some past trauma, some meaning I've overlaid on things, and that has hijacked me. That has taken me over. That has now sort of determined the course of my life and the outcomes I'm going to get. And to that we say, so that's coming up. What happens if we get up and do it anyway? Now, we're not talking about, if you're sick or if there is some actual, real reason not to. Do we really want to let our mood run our day, run our life? We have spent a lot of time developing a sense of purpose, a vision, goals, really coming to what is our life about? Where do we want to get? And how do we want to get there? And what's our plan? And all of that. At least if we've done our self-work, our homework, do we then want to indulge in a mood just because we feel it strongly? That comes from a really basic place in us. And it's not to say that, oh, that's terrible that we have that or any of that. It's just, is that what we want to let determine our outcomes in our life? One common example that we hear of this is people that'll say, oh, I'm tired. I had a long day. I'm tired. I just can't do anymore. And on one hand, of course, we understand that. But the other side of that is that so often that tiredness is a result of the underlying attitude. The attitude that we took towards what we were doing today. Oh, this is so hard. I don't like this. This shouldn't be happening. I don't like this subject. I don't like my assignment at work. The very way we engage in those sorts of things stresses us out and creates fatigue. If we recognize that, we get a chance to be able to pick and choose what attitude that we have and what the long-term impact of that is on us. The other part of that is, just to use this example, let's say we get to the evening and we've been in that kind of negative state and we feel tired. I don't feel like doing anything. It's been enough of a day already. If we stop and recognize that state that we're in, it's like we've wrapped ourselves in this whole story that we have going on. And if we stop and recognize that and unwrap that, change that state, take a different position on this and go, actually, it would feel good to accomplish something that I want to do today, or it would be great to get this out of the way, or wouldn't it be really nice to wake up tomorrow and have this behind me, or whatever it is, whatever it takes that way. That lets us shift in such a way that so often what people tell us is, suddenly all my vitality came back. I felt great again. I was ready to go. We see that sometimes when we get to the end of the day and we're really in that kind of funky state, and we have something that we're looking forward to. We have a great concert tonight, or a get-together with friends, or the game we wanted to watch is on, or whatever, and suddenly we're in a very different state. there it happens pretty naturally because we have that clear demarcation between the states that we've been in and what's going to happen next. So if we can do that in those circumstances, why can't we do that just across the board? Why can't we do that readily? Well, we can. Just today, I had somebody tell us, oh, I just didn't have any creative energy left this week, so I didn't get these things done. There are a couple different kinds of things taking place here, kind of built into that perspective. One of them is when there was something that they needed to get done and they didn't because of the story that they told themselves, the next story that comes in, often a little subconsciously, is, well, I failed. I didn't do what I said I was going to do or what I had taken on to do. And given that I failed, I now feel bad about myself. And that pulls me further down into that hole. The other part of this is the story that we told ourselves to lead us to end up feeling like, oh, I don't have any creative energy left. Creative energy is largely about the outlook we have on something. If I'm doing something that I have some disdain for, I don't want to do it, I view it in a dark way, my creative energy goes down and it's just a slog. And of course, when I get done with that, I'm going to feel like enough's enough. I'm done with it. So of course we're going to be in a bad state. And of course we're going to want to not do anything or, do a video game or space out or whatever, hang with friends. And all those things are fine. And we're not saying we should push on forever and ever, but we're saying, wouldn't it be nice to have choice? Wouldn't it be nice to be able to accomplish the things that we know that if we get them done, we're likely to feel much better about ourselves and about where our life is going, and we're going to get better results that is going to lead to more of the outcomes we want in our lives. So the underlying message here is, let's take control of the stories that we tell ourselves. What are we telling ourselves as we go through our day? What attitude, what perspective are we taking? What is that internal dialogue? There was once a book written that its title captured everything from our perspective, and the title was, Our Body Believes Every Word We Tell Ourselves. So if all day long we're going, oh, I hate this, of course our body's going to feel fatigued. Our body's not going to have the creative juice to do whatever else it is that we want to do. That's what we want to track, and we want to change the story. It's not hard at all. Once we just notice what we're telling ourselves, we have a choice. And we can imagine what would be better, what would feel better in me over time to tell myself. What would somebody else, if they were really on top of this, be telling themselves? And let's insert that story and see what kind of outcome that brings. We think you're going to find this a really easy but very useful tool to have in your toolbox and to be able to pull out regularly and change up your experience and get just so much more out of your life.